Okay, I'm on my way to Singapore. Just stopped for some gas and now heading off back to the highway.
Turn left.
Okay. Traffic is really bad because of the long holidays. Everyone seems to be taking the long holiday off KL, going to all the other southern states of Malaysia. Yeah, so hopefully after a few 100 kilometers, traffic will be better. So I'm heading off back to Singapore to have today's Mid-Autumn Festival, one of the Asian culture whereby family members were to gather together to have a reunion dinner mid-autumn. So yeah, I'm heading back to Singapore to have dinner with my kids. Yep, so if you're wondering why I've not been answering the requests and things like that, yes, I'm driving, so can't really do much. The CSs are on their way back from KL to Hong Kong to be with their family members for this festive season, and they will all be back on Sunday to handle some of the requests, but they're promised to be able to handle this request once they actually land. Their flight is sometime at about 4. They should land in Hong Kong at about 8-9. So expect the request to be the CS request to be answered probably about 10 plus. There's no time difference between KL and Hong Kong, so plus 8 GMT. Okay, tonight there will be a interview between me and Paul and Mateus' team. So be sure to actually tune in 10 p.m. GMT plus 8, which is about 3 p.m. their time. So it's going to be a great, hopefully a great interview. As usual, there's no it's not pre-scripted, so I'm not sure what they're going to ask me. Hopefully something that is not too difficult to answer. Hopefully. But they never make it easy anyway, so let's see how it goes. Be sure to tune in. I probably think they will post a link up in Zoom, and as you know, Zoom has a limited space to actually join in. So yeah, be sure to be early to actually watch out for that. Okay. So a bit back, the system itself, there are people, the engineers are still working on it, as today is still a working day in KL. It's just after today it will be a long weekend. The Malaysian festive holidays season, as I say, every Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday is a holiday actually. So it's a 3-day long weekend. It's every week it's like that for the month of September. So yeah, it's a pretty slow development month for Malaysia, but our team was still working hard on it. So yeah, give us some slack. These guys are working as hard as possible to make things happen, and I believe that you have seen the updates for on Jarvis. So the CTO conversion, you can directly import it into Java style. The team struggled through the weekend to actually put it up. So if there's any issue, please do let us know. We have tested it for a very short period of time, but it seems to work. So yeah, any problem, let us know on that. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I have 247 kilometers to go before I hit the Singapore border crossing. So it will take me around a couple of hours. It says here probably it will take me another 2.5 hours if I don't break the speed limit, which is kind of difficult. It's only 110 kilometers an hour on Malaysian highways, and it's a pretty wide road, so okay, let's talk a bit more about the things to come. Let's talk about the prepaid card. Okay, the prepaid card that we are going to be giving out, not giving out, you guys actually bought it anyway, for the event. Number one, please make sure that you do the KYC correctly, so that we can actually submit it to the banks to actually get it approved. Anything that has got to do with fiat will have to be KYC'd. That's the law. We have to follow it. But the cool thing is, we just forward the entire file directly to the banks, so we don't have any copy for that. The only thing that we have is a note saying that which account is actually what card number, so that we know which card to give you back. Of course, there's a face tag to it, so we know that we're giving back to the same guy. If those that's coming for the event and is collecting for their friend, the procedure would be like this. We would need to have a photo ID of your friend, okay, so that we can actually pass it to you. But what we do need as well is a letter of acceptance, saying that they allow you or they authorize you to collect on behalf of them. Okay, so we need that a letter for everyone that needs to actually collect on behalf of their friends. Okay, so make sure you have that signed, and have your friend post a selfie with that piece of letter, okay, so that we know that he has actually endorsed that. Okay, have all this ready. Now, more about this card. So the card itself, it has a 14K limit, but we are actually locking it down to about 10 to 13K. The reason why is we will have to pre-fund the cards, okay? And every card that we pre-fund means that the funds are actually locked in and we can't do anything much about it. Just like how the number of wallets we have for conversion, okay, to handle the conversion for Ethereum, okay. We have about 20 accounts now, or 20 wallets now, that is funded with at least 500 Ethereums. So as you do a conversion, you actually look through these wallets, and if you actually convert more than 500 Ethereum, right, we will have to specially handle that. It's because you calculate yourself 500 Ethereum each 20 accounts. That is the amount of Ethereums we need to actually park in every time. All right, it's not a good solution, but that is one of the fastest solutions that we can actually think of now to let you guys convert quickly. But as I say, every conversion will mean that you're actually drawing down from the ability for us to actually do trade, because the trade amount is actually lower. but it is not as damaging as withdrawals. Withdrawal itself is the most damaging, is because it's not only we have to actually stop the robot to actually trade, but also to you affect others that is in that particular trade at the moment. Okay, back on the card. So it's a 10,000 limit, and basically you can actually use it by staking in your CTOs to the card. So you can actually claim back the CTOs by actually you can't actually at the moment because we don't have our CESA license yet. Once you have the CESA license, you can actually top up the card by paying the US dollars into it. But we're waiting for our CESA license, so you can't actually do the top up through the US dollars. You can only use CTOs to stake it in at the moment. So you will lose your CTOs when you actually use the card. So for example, if you were to stake in, let's say 1,000 CTOs, that would roughly give you, let's say, 442 US dollars to use. Okay, so yeah, that's how it goes. You have to keep sticking in the CTOs to actually unlock your the limit to use the card. The card itself can be used anywhere in the world that supports the MasterCard payment network. ATM networks will work as well, but there will be additional charges. The whole slew of user agreement and things like that all will be given to you when you actually collect the card in the package itself. Everything will be there. Okay, so it's all listed pretty clearly. Okay, the card itself is only open for any members that is above 18, because that's one of the rulings. Yeah, so make sure that you're above 18. Okay, yeah, and the other thing is we'll touch base on is the cloud SIM. So, one more thing about the card itself. Okay, this is actually open on stage 2, but we might as well just tell you guys what is going to happen, right? Recently, the cool thing about the payment gateways are they are able to do this function called Pay Later. All right, I think in Asia a lot of the members already know what this is. So for example, like you go to, let's say, go to any merchant that actually accepts this type of service. You actually buy the service, but it's like a credit card where you buy, you can settle the payment later. Okay, with our card as well, because this is a prepaid card, right? So for example, you have let's say 1,000 Ethereum or maybe 500 worth of Ethereum in Jarvis itself. Okay, which will give you a certain X number of CTOs as a yield per day. Okay, what will happen is actually you have some sort of like an overdraft facility if you run out of the credit that you stake in with your CTOs. So when you actually swipe and it's over the limit, and your whatever you stake in your Ethereum is enough, okay, what will happen then is, okay, we will actually give you an overdraft facility to really settle the payment. Okay, this is for emergencies only. Okay, so you will have to accept a certain acknowledgement to actually enable this when the card feature is up. Okay, so there will be an option telling you that do you want to use your assets in Jarvis itself as a stake or a collateral for the card's overdraft facilities. So you can actually stick that in. So what happens is, let's say if you were to use more than what you should use, and the amount that you actually hold in Jarvis is actually locked, which means that you can't withdraw, or you can't withdraw but you can still get back the CTOs until you actually put the CTOs back in to cover whatever you have used. Okay, then it will be unlocked again. So we only lock for withdrawal, not for conversion. Okay, just remember that. We believe that this will be a cool feature that everyone is will enjoy using, especially those with a lot of I mean, for leaders, if you have a lot of this Jarvis investment in Jarvis itself, okay, so you can actually use it as your credit facility for that itself. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And let's move on to the cloud SIM. Okay, this morning itself, I had a interview with the Superman International system, and they actually asked what is the difference between our cloud SIM and the rest of the other SIMs, international SIMs, roaming SIMs around. Okay, so there are very few differences, but one of the major differences is because you're already in the network itself, you're earning CTOs, you're actually using CTOs to actually pay for the cloud SIM services. Okay, so you can consider it as a free service. Now, the roaming service or the cloud SIM itself will never be able to compare now, I mean at this moment, with the local SIM cards. Okay, if you were to, if so happen you to be in Indonesia and you know that the data package is already pretty cheap, okay, actually for Indonesians, all right, or for Singapore itself, we still can actually make do, but for Malaysia itself, it's still pretty cheap as well. But our card itself is only a bit more different than that. But since you're earning CTOs, you might not really need to worry about that. Okay, and the cool thing about this card is it has no number typed into it, so it's anonymous, which later you can actually bind numbers with it. Okay, but the cool thing is this card itself, you can still dial emergency numbers like 112 and all this. Okay, remember the emergency number for mobile phones is on the mobile network is a bit different. Okay, it's 112 or 119 or something like that, if I'm mistaken. All right, and yeah, you can still dial emergency number even though it's a non-voice call SIM. Now, the cool thing about this card is if you travel overseas. Now, let's say if you buy for example, you get a card, it's 7 days package, and you are from, let's say, for example, India, okay, let's say, yeah, India, okay, or Korea, or any from Taiwan, for example. You can take this card itself, use it in Malaysia, and you can put it in to your second SIM slot, and by the time you hit Taiwan itself, okay, yeah, you can actually switch on with your local SIM. But if you're in places like China, okay, for example, you can actually switch it on if you need it to hit our website or our service or the cloud wallet service. And the cloud wallet service will be whitelisted, which means that you do not need to pay any data. Okay, so that is data free. And what I mean is, let's say if you were to be in China and you use our SIM and you use the cloud wallet, you are not paying for data. Even though, let's say, it's a 1 gig package, it's not going to take up from your 1 gig. If you were to travel to, let's say, from China to Taiwan, all right, you will still not take up the 1 gig if you use the cloud wallet, okay, which is pretty cool. We whitelist that IP address and it's within our network, so you can actually just use it for free. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because we understand that security and anonymity is very important. One thing that other services like WhatsApp or WeChat or Telegram don't know is, okay, because the data is actually controlled by the operator itself, either it's Wi-Fi, it's actually controlled by the country, all right, and this data can be shared easily, and they will know that you've been communicating between who and who, but maybe not the content, but they know who and who, right? But in our case itself, because it's actually multi-roam and multi-hosted, so there's no way to know who is talking to who and what. The SIM cards are fully programmable, which means that if the service were to be blocked by a certain country, we can actually switch over the air to actually move the service to another provider or to something else. So it's programmable. It's really cool. I can't say what you can use with this card, but it's pretty obvious what you can use it for, especially when you're in China itself. Let's put it this way, you can actually get all your mails if you were using some other services that you can't use in China, right? But with this card, you are able to. And the difference between the pricing is actually not that much. So we believe that it's going to be really cool. Part of the cloud SIM service that we're going to run, we're targeting migrant workers. So this is going to be part of Rogue, okay, which we totally separate out. We call Project Holiday. Some of you would have already know that we have this project called Project Holiday, and Project Holiday itself is part of a crypto investment that we use to actually make profit to pay for the services of these cards. So for example, if you were to sell, let's say, a million of these SIM cards to a million people, and they would have put in, let's say $50, okay, for this. So you're talking about 50 million in the pool itself, which we can make about maybe 1.4% or 1.5% per month. Okay, so you're talking about this per month. Okay, so that's easily, you're talking about how much? 500 over, maybe it's about 600 over K, 700K. Okay, yeah, so if it's 700K per month, or something like that, okay, we are actually using this to actually fund for the entire 1 million people to, sorry, not 700, I think it's about 70K or something, yeah, about that. We're using this to actually pre-bulk purchase all the services that all these people would have in there. And if the members itself, or the card members itself, if they decide to, let's say, leave the service, well, they can take back their invested sum, which is the 50. So no harm, no loss. So we're actually trying to disrupt the telecom industry, or the mobile networks, okay, by using this method. You do not need to pay for any telco services. You let your money grow for you to actually pay for all these services, okay? And of course, once we actually have all the SIM cards to be distributed out to a lot of people, and also when the merchant program were to kick in, just imagine this, right? If we have about 1.5 million members or partners, cloud partners, right? To sign up, let's say 20 million merchants, okay? And we have about maybe 100 million subscribers. And these subscribers, what they need, okay? They need to actually buy stuff from the merchants, so the merchant will actually earn a good sum of profit from there. And also, migrant workers from Southeast Asia tops maybe 50 million people also. That's easily. Okay, in Malaysia itself, you already have about 6 million registered migrant workers. Not to mention the unregistered, probably there will be about 10 million of them. And you're talking about 1.6 million in Singapore, about 4 or 5 million in Thailand. You can easily hit about 50 million of these migrant workers, or the people working overseas, to actually send money home. And we are targeting a remittance business, okay, that would be the lowest in the whole industry, okay, that would probably be only 1 or 2%, 1% actually. The other 1% actually earned from the merchant side. The merchants itself will earn the 1%, and yeah, so that is how it's going to be. So remittance service plus a cash point. Any crypto users can go to any of these merchants to actually pay using Ethereum, Bitcoin, Dash, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, any type of crypto assets, not just only CTOs, and the merchant itself will get instant liquidity, okay, from there itself, from our network. So it's pretty cool, and we believe that this will really change how the whole world would be embracing mobile payment. Okay, gone are the days whereby all these are dominated by big banks. Now we are a pseudo bank like system itself, where the assets itself is controlled by the merchants. The merchant's business or the liquidity that they have becomes a bank by itself. So we basically just turn every merchant into a bank or ATM machine, if you want to call it, which also supports crypto. That is one of the things that the system is cool about. But the underlying architecture is all of them needs to have data, and this data is actually supported by the cloud SIM layer. Okay, so you can see that what we are pushing on is actually very logical and in real stages of what we can actually achieve. And yeah, I don't call this a project itself because it's not a project, it's actually a business. We are actually in the business of building a mobile wallet that will be adopted throughout the world with our 850,000 accounts in 148 countries. So all of this will expand out, okay, from there. The next few countries which we are targeting heavily on to build a service is actually in India, which we are trying hard to work with Reliance, which is one of the biggest networks in India, and several others, Grameen and the rest. All right, and we are also trying to build up our service in Nigeria, which is one of the largest population in Africa itself. So we are working on this as well. Uganda and Nigeria, Uganda and Kenya. Cameroon itself is out of our league because the providers there are too expensive. Instead of per gig, they charge per meg. So it is really expensive. We did a rough calculation. In order to support the entire African region, the cost would be close to $100 a gig. It's crazy, right? So anyway, we are trying to see what we can do to actually cover most parts of Africa, one step at a time. Okay, don't worry, we will try to make sure the connectivity is available around the world as what we have planned. This round, the SIM cards that you are actually getting in the event itself are the what we call the beta, or we call the open beta SIM cards. Okay, so it is an open beta where we have over 20,000 people playing with the cards, giving us feedback on what needs to be done, and we're actually gathering the data from all the SIM cards to see how we can make the service better, and also to gauge, okay, what is the usage pattern of each of our members would be like. Okay, do you travel a lot, you don't travel a lot, and things like that. The next stage of the cards will all be all in one, which means that we might be able to work out a local package with your local provider to turn it from a global SIM to a local travel SIM, which means that it will be at least 10-20% cheaper, and it's comparable to the local data packages, so it will not be any difference. Now, one of the questions that I was asked is, won't the provider or the telco of the country shut you down if it would actually gather so much of members? Basically, frankly not. Very simply, it's because of this, right? You know, data, right? It's actually free for the operator. They're just charging you because they can charge you, right? Operators, like any companies, they want to make a profit. They really sunken costs to build the towers and things like that. Data is free for them, okay? And whatever they are charging you, maybe $1 a day or something like that for unlimited, it's actually all sunken costs. They made a one-time of investment, and they're just screaming off their customers, right? And what we are doing now is we are actually paying for something which is free, and we are buying off and trading the data, okay, across the region, okay, to see how we can actually make a cheaper service for our members who actually roam. But when we have special agreement with local providers, it will be even better and even cheaper for our service itself. They will not shut us down. It's because we are giving, no matter how, we're still paying them, okay? So yeah, they are earning from us anyway. That is the reason why we are not an actual competitor to them, but we are giving them a more business than ever. And unless that particular country, you only have one telco, right, and they dominate everything, then probably, yes, we will be shut down. But if the country itself has more than one telco, there must be a number one and number two or number three in line. So we normally work with the underdog telcos, okay, which means that we will be giving them more market share, and probably they'll take us in. So yeah, you must understand that it's a business decision, and it's pretty cool that we might not face any of these issues at all. At the moment itself, I'm using the cloud SIM to actually roam, and I'm trying to see cross-border or the data itself, whether there's any breakage. So if you guys can hear me, press a thumbs up or something like that, so that I know that you can hear me. I'm not sure whether whatever I've been saying can be heard or not. Maybe you just hear my mouth moving but no sound, right? Not really sure. If you can hear me, press something, a smile, angry face or whatever, so that I know. Yo, nothing at all? Means that it's not working? Oh gosh. Well, from the time I started until now, I've traveled about 70 kilometers. Yeah, you can hear me. Nice. 192 kilometers to go. I've passed the first speed trap point. Now hitting the second one soon. My family members, they booked a restaurant reservation at 7:30. I'm not sure whether I can make it back on time. Yeah, hopefully I can, but I'm not driving too fast. I can't anyway. Traffic is not permitting me to do it. Nice. I'm heading off to the first nearest state. It's called Malacca. Malacca is a very historical state or city in the Malaysian history. It's the first port, a very important port in history, the Straits of Malacca. So it's a very important trade route during the olden days. right? If on October 5th, anyone were to come for the event, please make sure you have a couple more days extra to actually visit Malaysia. There are plenty of beautiful places here, wonderful culture. Because we are very diversified, we have actually more than 4 races or 4 race here, with predominantly the Malays. Then you have the Chinese, the Indians, the locals, and then you have the rest of the other tribes and yeah. And because Malaysia has been dictated or been occupied by many foreign countries, like mistaken, it was the Portuguese, Spanish, I think, maybe, yeah, Portuguese definitely. All right, so there are certain remnants of the Portuguese in the food, especially Chinese itself, because a lot of the traders actually were to trade in the Silk Road, the side, and bring spice through the sea from India. They cross the Straits of Malacca and then towards the China the side. So yeah, we have a lot of very unique combination of food, right? Whereby it's Chinese mixed with a bit of local, so it's pretty cool. And if it's your first time in Malaysia, okay, just go for all the local food. It's actually wonderful. Just be open to try any new stuff. Not horrible stuff like insects and things like that. It's pretty decent food. Yeah, pretty decent food. But what the hell, Malaysia is one of the most visited countries. Okay, so one of the other things that we are launching is the online travel agencies, or the OTA feature. Now, one of the things that we actually promote a lot is the OTA, and OTA itself stands for many things. Like travel agency itself, you have to cover a few things. Okay, number one is hotels for accommodation. The tickets for the travel, of course, other things like transportation, in-country transportation, car rental, maybe the tour guides or cruise packages and things like that. Okay, we are developing a platform just like Booking.com, where we can actually stick in a lot of the channels for this type of sales, and currently we have only been able to secure the hotels. So we are trying to work hard on to getting the airlines to come on board, and the first airlines that we are going to talk to is actually Asia. Of course, hopefully we have a good enough proposal to entice them to actually work with us. Like all our what we do, okay, we try to entice all of these service providers or these providers, and how they can actually expand their businesses with whatever our members can actually support or to give. All right, and yeah, we are actually coming up with a proposal, and hopefully we have something good enough to entice them to actually join our network itself. But it will be a very simple integration, as we have a two-stage plan like anything else. We are unlike any other companies itself. We always think about what is actually doable first within the first few weeks or months before we actually open up to the second stage, whereby it's a full integration for more things. Let's say, for example, if Asia were to come and work with us, we will be actually becoming an agent, just like how they already have the agent program. We would sell tickets on behalf of them with a small profit, okay? But this profit itself, we will actually convert back into the profit to put into the profit pool or the reserve pool, okay? Whereby everyone can actually benefit from, okay? And of course, the users use CTOs to actually purchase the tickets itself. That's the first stage that we are trying to push through first. First, we need to show the merchant that we can really bring a lot of difference to their revenue, okay? And if we do give them significant revenue, then only we work on the second stage, whereby maybe on their website they can actually support us to use CTO to do the payment, okay? And of course open up the rest of the cryptocurrencies as well. It depends whether this will work, but we have no idea yet because we have not talked to them, but it's scheduled to. So let's hope we can work something out from there itself. There are many other high-profile merchants that we are looking at to actually work with, okay? Which we are not able to share at this moment because of they are a bit shy. So yeah, let's see how it goes from there. It will be really cool. So for those that is actually coming for the October 5th event, please actually get your tickets as soon as possible. The hotel packages are really affordable. We spent a lot of time to actually talk to the hotel chain, and you'll be staying at the Marriott chain of hotels. It's not JW Marriott only. It's actually St. Regis, Loft. You're talking about many others like Westin and many other hotels that's under the Marriott group. Okay, so there are 3 different tiers. You have tier 3, tier 2, and tier 1. Tier 1s are the very exclusive hotels, whereby it's like St. Regis, where everyone that stays there, actually the room, you get a butler, right? Someone to iron your clothes, to bring you stuff whenever you want. You have an in-room spa, whereby you have a spa bed in the room actually, where the masseuse will actually come up and actually massage your back and things like that. So yeah, it's very exclusive and cool, and it's actually given to us at a super good rate that you can't actually find. And if you were to go for Booking, or go for Booking.com, or go for Agoda, or go for Ctrip, and you will search on that date itself, okay, on these hotels, you will find out that they're all sold out, okay? Yeah, so you can only get it from us, and it's pretty nice. Hope that you guys can take up this cool package that we have worked very hard on to actually get for you guys. See, as a cloudtopian, okay, as what Luigi always Queen Vicky likes to say in Faith, we are all cloudtopians. We want cloudtopians to actually enjoy the fruits of the labor, okay? We make we make the wealth for you, and you enjoy it, okay? So this is what we are trying to let you guys achieve, not just only on the financial freedom part, but of course, if you don't work hard for it, of course, you just get whatever's the least, right? But for those that's working hard, traveling a lot, fucking building up your network and things like that, yeah, definitely this will be one of the best cool things that you can actually enjoy. All right. So the location itself is in KL City. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's nearby. The city is about 20 minutes away. The city is where all the good stuffs are. You have plenty of night spots around for you to drink and things like that. Zouk is just nearby, which is a party place for those that loves nightlife. Okay, yeah, it's quite cool. And of course, October 6th is going to be the day that we actually will have a opening, office opening ceremony, which we invite the C3, C4s, and there's no more C5 now. It just dropped from C4 to from C5 to C4 because of the recent market drop, and also because of the exodus for members that is not confident in what we are doing. Okay, no matter, it's all members' decision. We respect everyone's decision. Okay, and yeah, but come back in, do come back in and join us to see what we are doing. Okay, of course, all of this said is very simple. We are, my team and I, we are all fully committed to build cloud to become the world's largest wallet, no matter how, and we are poised to actually build it and make everything work. Okay, no matter what happens, we'll be here to actually make it work. So yeah, those that is hardcore enough to actually join us in this journey, as I said, we will really take care of all the pioneers. We are grateful for all the pioneers. We'll take care of every single one of you guys. So yeah, stick with us, join us as a pioneer, and really make this not just only to change our lives, but others as well. It's about time the world learns that, okay, blockchain is the economic changing factor, but none of the projects, not even Bitcoin, is able to change the way people spend their money. Okay, it's very simple because there's no single or foundation that's able to make a change. Okay, if you look at the largest one around, okay, what they're only covering maybe less than 1% of it. Okay, so we as a social economic group, okay, we are a substantial size of members. Let's say for example we hit 1 million, okay, we are substantial enough and we can actually make a change. So we are showing the rest of the world how things can be done. And the most important part is, okay, there's always taboo that networkers, multi-level networkers are a bunch of people that, you know, don't know what to do and things like that. It's very taboo. Or networking companies are bad and things like that. But nobody knows that, okay, networking companies are the most efficient bunch in the world. Very simply said, okay, if I were to if I'm Alibaba, right, and I were to actually want to go out and let's say sign up 200,000 merchants, okay, I were to hire or to build a agent program, okay, and I were to select companies or whoever to actually do all of these things, which means that there is a cost involved now. So we actually cut this off and we actually push it to the networkers, and because we are not an entity and there's no overheads to pay for, all right, so we can actually turn all these profits, okay, into something which we can pass back to the networkers. you get what I mean here now. So this is something that no traditional company can understand, but we actually know it from day one that this is one of the ways that networkers are actually the next wave of how business should be run, okay, efficiently and quickly. Look at how the cloud project has actually grown. We are 3 months in, we are 850,000, and it's all qualified. Not say all qualified, but we have at least 60% of qualified accounts. All right, let's imagine this, right? The amount of value that we can bring into the economy, the financial sector. The next part is to actually get the financially excluded to come in as well. We totally have the capability of doing it. Okay, just imagine this, right? So now you are in this village. There's no banks, no bank access. Okay, everybody keeps their money underneath the pillow. Now, if we have merchants in that area itself, which there are always bound to be merchant everywhere, okay, in a village, and these merchants were to collect all the fiat, and they were to give out the digital tokens, the digital assets, like for example Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever, to the customer or the user, okay, and it grows for them because they actually use it in Jarvis or in Rogue or whatever, right? And their asset is actually growing, and they can actually go to any of these merchants to actually buy stuff as well. So imagine this, right? The amount of unbanked there are using this system itself. It's, you just do the own math and calculation, all right? That is where we can help. Not just only help, but we help everyone. And everyone now is actually using mobile payment, just like how China is, all right? Even a 60, 70-year-old old lady, they are using mobile phones and they're using WeChat to pay because it's very simple, right? But the underlying thing is you will have to have a bank account, right? Now, all you need to do with ours is you just need to have a anonymous Ethereum account or Bitcoin account or a cloud account, and you can just do it. Just think about that, right? Not only we're changing the way things are, they're all pioneers here to actually move or to really revolutionize the world. Okay, this is what we want to do, and our target is actually in 3 years. Imagine this, right? Not imagine, actually it's something real. Master and Visa took 50 years to cover the whole entire globe with their payment system, which is everybody can pay with Master and Visa, right? It's 50 years, and they only cover the bankable or the financially included. And we've moved a couple years back, right? So 15 years back or something like that, 15 years back, okay, we have PayPal disrupting and eating into the business of what MasterCard and Visa is doing. Now we use PayPal a lot of times, or Stripe or whatever you can think of, okay, all this type of apps to actually pay for online, okay, and we use PayPal to actually do business as well, for those that actually use eBay a lot and things like that, all right? PayPal took 15 years to grow, to hit around the world, to cover around the world, okay, not really every part, but around the world. They are worth 125 billion. They took 15 years, and also only the financially included, those that have a bank account. With cloud, 3 years, we cover end to end. Anyone that has a mobile phone can actually do it. That is where our target is. Just look at this, right? This is our game plan. This is our plan. Just take a moment to digest how big this thing is. It's not about just Jarvis. It's not just about Rogue. Jarvis and Rogue is only one of the small little things that we can do in the crypto world. What we're trying to do is the bridge from crypto to the traditional world, where everybody can access financial services just using their phones. Right? Take a moment to really just think about it. You are a pioneer of this. Just to say that, wow, I grew with PayPal, or I grew with cloud. You know, the kind of achievement that you get from that, the satisfaction that you get from that. Right? Of course, you get more. Okay. When Bitcoin was first created, before it was corrupted by greed, I always say that it's corrupted by greed. It's the best system of all. Bitcoin has no price, it just has a quantity. Just think about gold. When gold has no price, it's just a quantity. It's just how many ingots for this cow, how many ingots for that, how many ingots for what. It is not about this gold is worth 10,000 US dollars, it's worth what. Paper is paper. Paper will always mean nothing. How can you take something of value and peg it to something of no value? Right? It's the same thing. When Bitcoin, you can't buy, you can just harvest, you can just mine it. Alright? And the more you mine, the more you can spend. And you have to keep mining. And there's a limited order, limited supply. It's the best. And because of greed, people put a price onto it, and suddenly it went to the exchange, and the price is just set to craziness price. We are not going to let CTO become like that. CTO will never be on an exchange. It's going to be by quantity. Next time, people can be paid in CTOs. So what is the salary? 1,000 CTOs, 2,000 CTOs. And how much to buy a car? Maybe 500 CTOs. Right? Who is going to care about what's the price? The price is the number of CTOs. Not pegged to US dollars, not pegged to gold, not pegged to anything. That is what the beginning of what blockchain wanted to be. Think about it. Right? What Bitcoin cannot achieve, we are trying to achieve it. Why we will never be on exchanges? Why you can never buy CTOs? You can only work hard for it. The harder you work for it, the more you get. Please understand that. Take a moment, breathe it in, and understand about it. Okay? Yeah, we're not here to play. This is a business. This is a cultural revolution. We are actually trying to. I always want to tell anyone that knows me from the past, right? I always say that blockchain is not a technology. It's a cultural revolution. It changes people's thinking. Okay, how you think about blockchain. Instead of having a father or mother telling you what is right or what is wrong, now the decision's in your hands. All right, during my days, okay, or probably even before that, right, the parents would always dictate what the child must do. Okay, for example, you must go to school. After you go to school, then the next step is to go for a good college, and then, or maybe go to university. Come out, you want to become a engineer, doctor, or lawyer, or whatever. All right, the whole 9 yards is actually being planned by your parents. But if you look at nowadays, right, parents, like the new age parents, never do that anymore. It's more about, okay, we give our child a lot of freedom to think about what they want to do. We encourage them to make decisions for themselves. This is a revolution, evolution, step up. So Bitcoin or blockchain, Bitcoin sparked it. Okay, blockchain is a cultural revolution. It's the next evolution of how business can be conducted, how people would think, how government is run. Okay? So it is something that you have to really breathe deep and think. It's something really, really bigger than what we are looking at today. Oh, it's just only Bitcoin, Ethereum. Oh, it's about $177 now, and about probably at the end of the day it'll be 181, and then you'll drop it down to 177 again. Right? It's not about that. Okay? Bitcoin was created, okay, not for the reason of pegging it to monetary value. It was created so that people can use it as a form of transfer. It's like a barter system. I give you 1 Bitcoin, you give me a car, or give me a cow. Right? Ethereum was not meant for that. Ethereum from day one has a monetary value pegged to it because it has VCs. It has investors. It has a tokenized value. People that put money into Ethereum wants to get more out from it. It's fueled by greed, not by the willingness to change, or it's not a solution per se. But Bitcoin was created for that purpose, but it was corrupted by greed. Why, there are many blockchain platforms there that are really mind-blowing. Okay, there's so many outside there that uses proof of stake. But what is actually proof of stake? Proof of stake is the one with the most money gets to make more decision. It's because if you don't make the right decision, we will actually take away what you stake in. But if you look at how this small project, I'm not sure whether most of you probably heard of it before. It's called IOTA. They come up with a wonderful solution to actually stop one thing. Why is there a gas fee? Okay, why is there a gas fee in the first place? All right, there are 2 reasons why there's a gas fee in all the blockchains. Number one is to stop spamming. Okay, if there's no gas fee and people keep spamming the network, then everybody will be faced with DOS, right? That's why they put the fee there. But there's many ways to actually solve this. All right, just look at how IOTA did it. In order for you to make a transaction, you have to help 2 transactions to complete that transaction. Wow, wonderful. Which means that I will never be able to spam, because in order to spam one time, I need to handle 2 transactions. Wonderful, right? That's how we actually set it for Aura as well. But we believe that the way that IOTA did their consensus algorithm is not strong enough. We added in one more called reputation. Okay, the score for IOTA is based on the number of levels your particular transaction is nested. We don't believe in nested transactions, or because number one is it's not meant for IoT devices, okay, which has small memory. And if you have 1,000 nested layers, it's going to be crazy to actually drill down. So instead of doing a nested layer, we actually break up all each transactions into individual orders, okay, so that it can be processed easily, okay. And from that itself, we actually give a score, and that's the proof of reputation. You can read more about it from our Aura website, aurae.io. All right, read up the white paper and see the things that we are doing. I've actually posted up something this morning, which I want people to know how know what are the problems that we are facing, and why is the Aura network Aura network so fast. Okay, how do we actually do it? So it's there, and you can take a look. Just learn more. The key to success is actually not about how much of money you earn or the right decisions you make. It's the knowledge that you gain from each of your doing or what you're undertaking. Right? I always believe this. That's why I want to teach. I want to bring more knowledge to all the partners. Okay? Because I believe that if your wallet is full but without knowledge, and your wallet will soon be empty, because you won't be able to keep that wealth. But if you have knowledge and you have wealth, you can really help to change the world. Okay. So when is Rogue going to be launched? Actually, we wanted to do it's actually already running. We have been playing with it ourselves. Okay. We wanted to actually launch it for the October 5th. So basically what we planned to do was this. Okay. Because we understand that the tickets are not really cheap, right? For those newcomers, new members, you don't even have enough CTOs to actually buy the tickets. So we wanted to actually open up Rogue for you to actually participate in. Let's say, for example, just maybe one USDT or 5 USDT or 10 USDT or something like that. And every day itself, you get a chance to see whether you are the winner. Okay. While we take your $10 US, we pull it, we throw it in the compound, and we can actually earn a accrued monthly yield, which will actually help you pay for the tickets. Right? You understand? So we are actually trying to push that through for the new members that actually did not get enough CTOs to actually buy the tickets. But however, this particular event wasn't we couldn't make it in time, so we'll keep it for later or something else. Wealth plus knowledge. It's not just only wealth. Okay. Wise man told me that even though your pocket is full, if you are foolhardy, you'll always be empty very soon. So in order to make sure that your pocket's not empty, please smarten up. I'm 122 kilometers away from the border crossing towards Singapore. Traffic seems to be cleared up now, but there are still a lot of, because of the long holidays, there are a lot of speed traps laid out in front of me. Can't really break the law. So yeah, probably I'll not make it for the 7:30 dinner, but hopefully I can. Hopefully my daughter won't be angry at me. The air quality in KL is pretty bad because there was a forest fire, and the ppm index is over 200. So a lot of schools have actually stopped school because of the air quality index is hazardous and bad for health. yeah, a lot of kids are not in school, and the parents itself actually took them on a long holiday. But anywhere you go, I believe that it's still going to be the same. I believe that it's going to be as bad as in Singapore. It's going to be as bad as here. But probably when you go up north towards the northern states, it'll be much better. So, how Rogue works is this, okay? And let's say if we have every member, let's say we have 1 million members giving $10 or 10 USDT, and all this 10 USDT will put into this pool. This pool itself, you can put in any kind of currency itself, but what we will do is we will actually turn it all into different cryptocurrencies. It will be in DAI, USDC, mostly ERC20, DAI, USDC, TUSD, or USDT, ERC20, or wrapped BTC, or wrapped Ethereum, or Ethereum itself. Okay, it depending on what the pool, the compound pool supports, what market they support, and each of these currencies, they give a yield, a yearly yield. Okay, so if you look at compound.finance itself, right, DAI itself gives you back about, if not mistaken, about 9%, if not mistaken, and if you were to put in USDC, you get back about 5.9 something percent. Okay, now these are all per annum APR, right? And let's say, for example, now we have a 10 million, we put inside this, but the accrued, the whatever we get back as a payout is in daily form, as in this called C ETH or C DAI or C USD, or compound DAI or compound USDC. Okay, which we can then take this compound and convert it into DAI, okay, and DAI can convert back into Ethereum. One DAI is pegged to $1 okay. So yeah, that's how we actually do this thing. But it's not always the same with everything. We actually our system itself take 8 of this. One is as I say, compound. The other one is called Celsius Network itself. We also link to them, which gives a higher yield, and it has more markets. Okay, and basically we also are linked up with many exchanges that actually does lending. Okay, if you look at it, right, it's something like Binance itself, which just launched the lending not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago. Okay, whereby if you were to stick USDT, or you will stick ADA, or you stick in, let's say, for example, BNB, okay, you get a yield per annum of 10%, 14%, and things like that. But the contract itself, the maturity is about 14 days, 28 days, or something. Okay, and you actually get in form of tokens, which you can then change. Okay, so yeah, it's the same reason. It's the same method like how the cloud token works. Okay, you give us an Ethereum, we take it to trade, and we actually give you CTOs. CTOs, if it's not changed to Ethereum itself, it is the actual Ethereum earnings are still in a pool for trading. Okay, only when you cash out, okay, or you withdraw, then we have less in the pool to trade, because you realize your earnings. Okay, so this is the same way, the same method that everybody is using. Okay, it's a very logical manner. The merchant comp plan is going to be a really simple one, but now what we are working on is this. Should we use the same affiliate tree, or will it be a different affiliate tree? Because the comp plan that we have currently for the merchants is a uni-level comp plan, which means that whatever you do affects only your one level up. Okay, now if let's say you start, if we start with the new affiliate program, okay, let's say a new tree, then you have to go and sign up again, which we think that is a bit waste of time. Okay, but if you have the existing affiliate program, then you would feel that, oh no, what if my sponsor is no longer in the system? Then what will happen? So we're actually working this out. Yeah. So the uni level will be very simple. 80% of whatever the transaction is accrued for that particular day for the merchant, okay, you will keep 80% and 20% goes to your top. All right, that's very simple. It's only one level. You can build endless lakes. Okay, you can build 200 lakes if you want, 300 lakes if you want. Okay, and all this will go this way. And one thing is you have to help the merchant actually to have sales, because if there's no sales itself, you won't actually get any transactions at all. Okay, and what the merchant, how do you actually get the transactions from there? So for example, the merchant itself would earn 1% from each transaction itself, and the transaction for the 1% itself, you will be getting a part of this 1%. Okay, so that you, the merchant, and the upline, downline, everybody will get something. All right. It is always encouraged that if you were to sign up, for example, you can sign up a chain of stores, and then it will be really a lot of money from there. Imagine that the store itself, okay, with a closing of, let's say, $2,000 every day, okay, and $2,000, it doesn't eat into their profit. It's because unlike most of the payment solutions whereby the merchants have to pay a merchant discount rate, we actually gain we actually gain more profit for the merchant itself, and this gain itself is actually shared among the merchant, you as the introducer, and your upline who introduces you to this. Okay, so yeah, it works that way, but it's not set in stone. But we will actually come up with the merchant program proposal very soon. Matthew is working on it, and because we have to actually present it to some really large merchants, very big brands on this very soon. Yeah, we will be announcing it. Driving and talking is okay, as long as my eyes are on the road. It's still okay. Don't drink and drive, right? So yeah. Talking about drink, I need to find some way I can stop to buy something to drink. The air is very bad. I can actually smell the burning smoke smell from outside. It's really terrible, the air here. Another 100 kilometers for me to go to hit the Singapore cross-border. So just now when I left my home, I was actually looking for the auto pass, which is what I need to actually get into Singapore. I thought I've actually lost it. So, but luckily, before I actually made a drastic move to head back home to look for it, I found it in a car. Because this car is actually being used by many of the staffs or the partners in CTO, in cloud itself. So they keep putting things around here. Now they never put it back into the actual place where it's supposed to. So yeah, that's people sometimes with bad habits. Well, take a break. My longest drive was about for 6 hours. same direction from KL to Singapore, but along the way there was a lot of jams. To cross the border, it took me about an hour and a half, all right, to line up. It's like crossing the US-Mexico border, right? So yeah, you can imagine that, but yeah, it takes about an hour and a half or so. Yeah. We need you safe. Yeah, I'm safe. I'm driving much more slowly, and while I'm talking to you guys, I'm always constantly kept awake. So you know, for normally long drives, and with this type of weather, the visibility is like dusk, yeah, whereby you know it's gloomy. Yeah, normally people will fall asleep, right? So the good thing is, while talking to you guys, I keep myself awake and I'm more alert on the road. Yeah, so it's actually a good thing. I was actually contemplating about whether should I do this or not, but I think I made the right decision. Driving for the last few hours, yeah, not falling asleep yet. Even though I was training the entire night yesterday, and I had to wake up early in the morning for 2 interviews, right? Yeah, I stopped for a while just now for a quick lunch bite. Yeah, and it's cool. It's cool. Very simple, okay? CTO, total supply, change or don't change, don't affect the price. Only total circulation will affect the price, okay? Please read up on my post previously on how the price is determined. I have many posts on this, okay? You can actually check it out of that. The total circulation will only affect, not the total supply. The total supply can be 1 billion, 2 billion, 10 billion, or whatever it is. As long as it doesn't hit the ecosystem, okay, then it will not affect the price. I actually slimmed down. Not actually. I think it's about the same. Every time when my wife sees me, he say that, how come you have grown? So yeah, probably not. Maybe it's just the angle. The design for atomic swap from CTO to Jarvis is designed for 6 different cryptocurrencies. Okay, I will have to check back with the engineers why they only do for one. I don't think it's only just for one, right? But I'll have to check on that, right? From yeah, the conversion side. Probably it's because they are using the same interface by just adding a option for you to actually swap it into Jarvis directly. Probably is that, but that particular portion itself, I mean, for the atomic swap, it's swappable for any cryptocurrency that we support, which is the 6. I will check with the engineers as soon as I probably can. Yeah, we are working on that. Okay, the thing is, we actually have priorities on what features we launch, and I have this very simple way of prioritizing work. Number one is whatever that makes money for, or makes more wealth for the partners or for the members, we do it first. Whatever that can actually build up the ecosystem, for example, like the OTA, OTC, and things like that, we'll actually put it up in the higher priority. Whatever that is just superficial, it looks nice, UI, cosmetic, and all of these things, well, we will put it at the last of our priority. And because there are many things that we are actually going to launch during October, and one of it is actually our own chat mechanism will be inside there, and the chat itself would replace the daily the daily news thing, whereby now when you click on it, you are able to look at the channels that you are invited to or that you have joined. Okay, as a leader itself, what you can do is you can actually create your whole entire, you can pull the entire tree or whoever is under you, okay, into the channel. No limits of how many people there are. If you have 10,000 people in your group, it will be a 10,000 people group, okay, person group. Or you can just choose how many levels down. Let's say, for example, you want to choose only the first level, so the only one level down, all this will be in this group. You can actually choose from there. The engine itself is very similar to what you get in Telegram itself. We have very strong encryption, end-to-end encryption, which is through the end-to-end encryption itself, using certificates to actually do that. And the second thing is we have very good privacy measures. For example, you can choose to remove all chat historical data on your phone after 1 week, after 1 day, or it's immediate to see once and things like that. You can do video streaming, you can do photo sending, file sending, voting, and many more. Alright, this is one of the features that we have actually planned for a long time now. Yeah, so it will be ready from that itself. Yeah, more things to come from there. So not to share too much of what we are doing. This is only one of things. Well, CJ, your message is too long. Yeah, make it shorter so I can know what you want to say. UK, actually, when I was in Poland for the event, that event itself was to also hit London, but that particular trip was cancelled, so no plans yet. But today I'm going to have a interview with Matthias, Paul, McCarthy, and team. Yeah, be sure to join and do ask the question, so maybe they can have something planned out. Yes, the UK seems to cover every country in most all countries in Europe. We are working with Vodafone in UK, so yeah, it covers most of the place. Uganda, Africa, not yet. As I said that we are trying to. Yeah, we're trying to. Our first annual first to enable India first. Then we will move in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and all those places. We will enable those countries first for India, and later for the African region at the same time. So we are working on it. Yes, we are working on it. As long as crypto has value, well, like every business itself, it needs to be economically sustainable. All right, as long as whatever we do is economically sustainable, we will always be here. And of course, it also depends on whether the participants, which are all the partners, are still here. Okay, if everybody were to pull out, then yeah, probably we have nothing. Suddenly something just popped up and said that please shake my phone if there's a problem. Kind of weird. Visiting Africa, Uganda. Well, Faith is in Africa. I think she's doing a very good job. Of course, if I have the chance to go, why not, right? I love sharing. Like Faith loves talking to you guys. I love to do it as well. The plan was to, yeah, actually, Calvin, yes. When we introduce a block system in Jarvis, you can actually do that, okay? And that is the time when we will actually remove the 10% penalty, okay? Because you don't actually pull all the funds out. But we are still working on the block system. We have only deployed the block system for Rogue, and we're going to test it out in Rogue. If it works, okay, then we will implement this for Jarvis. Okay, talking about the block program, so each block is actually one ticket or one spot. Okay, and each particular project you have a fixed number of blocks. Okay, so for example, like Rogue itself, every time there is a 10 million limit, so it's either a 10 million block for USDT 1 or a 1 million block for USDT 10. Okay, so it works in blocks. So whoever goes in for that particular, let's say for example the block is taken up, let's say we only have 1 million blocks, and 1 million block is taken up. So you have to wait for the next block to open up the next day. All right. So every day a 1 million block thing for 10 USDT. So it works like that. So yeah, we will try it out first, and if it really works, then we'll implement it in Jarvis, and it will be really fun. But which also means that the limit of Jarvis will be limited by the number of blocks. Each block is actually 500. So for example, you would put in 1008, right? You'll be taking up 4 blocks, because there is 3 blocks that is 500 and 1 block that is 300. So no matter how you do it, it's actually 500 a block.